Pra galera que vai entrando, bom dia, Mi, tudo bom? Vamos testar aqui o título ganhador do Prêmio Big de 2023. É um indie chamado Season, uma carta para o futuro, né? Ou A Letter to the Future. E vamos ver aí o que nos aguarda. Boa noite, Zé, beleza? Deixa eu... Acho que o meu som aqui do fone tá baixo. E eu vou tirar o som da TV também, para não estourar nossos ouvidinhos. Pronto. Esse título, gente, ele é um indie, ele saiu em janeiro desse ano, né? Tava concorrendo ao prêmio Big, que foi premiado na sexta-feira. É um indie, ele saiu para PC, né? Microsoft Windows, Play 4 e Play 5.
But I'm writing to you anyway. Where are you? How far in the future? Where'd you find my journal? I may never know, but you can know me from what I put down on these pages. I come from a little village in the mountains. No one has left here since before I was born. But our lives changed overnight, just a few days ago when my best friend had a prophetic dream. A vision that the elder said.
Então, ele é uma aventura de bike, né? De uma pessoa que tem aí uma premonição ou uma previsão de que o mundo vai acabar.
Everyone was afraid. I was surrounded by questions and I began to feel how little I know. What is this season that is about to end? And why is it ending? What exactly is out there that could turn the world inside out? If there are still voices singing and laughing in the wilderness, I could record them before they're gone. I also thought of my dad, who always wanted to see the outside world but never did. So, I asked if I could leave.
Então, pelo que eu entendi você vai sair pelo mundo, né, conhecendo as pessoas e gravando recordações.
A palace of art and memory at the edge of the earth. She says it's the only place safe from the turmoil of a changing season. I hope that's where you're reading this now. I can't stop the change that is coming, but this time on Earth could live on in these pages. What it looks like, sounds like, how it feels to be alive right now. I'm writing to you at the crack of dawn, on the morning I leave home. I can smell breakfast cooking in the other room, and I can hear my mom's voice.
Bom, então a gente tem aqui, né, o nosso índice, que a gente ainda não tem nada, né, porque a gente ainda não descobriu nada. Estamos na nossa casa. Aparentemente ele é tipo um point and click, ó.
Three, two, one. Hooray!
Peraí que eu vou tentar. Calma, 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 calma. É que essa câmera, na verdade, né, mano, ela é ruim de posicionar em cima da TV e aí fica um rolê aqui meio bosta pra, pra conseguir colocar certinho. Deixa eu vir mais pra frente. Vê se melhorou aí. Ai, caramba, quase que eu caio. Vê se melhorou aí. Tá uma bagunça aqui. Ixi. Reformei nada, é que eu não arrumei esses dias mesmo. Sabe quando você vai deixando a bagunça feita? É como tá aqui. Eu tô. Esses dias tô correndo com outras coisas aí, já viu, né? Eu tô tentando mexer a câmera pra gente poder ler o que tá escrito embaixo. Peraí, peraí, peraí. Ó, mas ele voltou pro mesmo lugar, é foda. Então, a minha aqui, meu, parece que ela tá sempre. Parece que tá sempre bagunçada, sabe? É um negócio assim que eu não consigo entender como que fica tanta bagunça. Eu acho que nasce ali. Vai nascendo e vai ficando por ali, entendeu? Ó, então o livro aqui, Coleção de Estranhos, Contos Sinistros para Crianças Inquietas. Verso: a coleção de estranhos é uma introdução aos aspectos mais pavorosos desse mundo. Medo e diversão, na medida certa para deixar as crianças mais prudentes. É um bullying corretivo, né, em outras palavras. Temos um inseto. Dinheirinhos. Ele é tipo os jogos antigos de PC mesmo. Foto dos papis. E um desenho do pai. Então vamos sair do nosso quarto.
The burner's on the table, ready to make a pendant. Mom is cooking sweet bark soup. She got out some old tapes.
You're up. What are you doing standing there? Time to get going. It's gonna be a beautiful morning. I'm making progress. I found the burner, camera, recorder. Breakfast is in progress. Still gotta make a pendant. We haven't used this in so long. Good thing I saved the instructions. Just as you would use a shield to protect your body, an identity pendant protects your mind. Your thoughts, memories, everything that makes you, you. We don't wear them here in the village anymore. But if you're going into the outside world, I'll feel better when you've got a pendant shielding you.
Ah, então a mãe dela sabe que vai embora.
I will worry until you're gone, and then I'll have total confidence in you. In times of war, a pendant can be used to identify a body. Let's skip that part. Objects have two layers, the physical and the mental. The pendant needs to absorb both. 1. Collect a sentimental object for each sense: sound, smell, feel, sight, taste. 2. Feel the sense and speak aloud a memory of the object. 3. Feed the object into the burner. The memory will leave the speaker as it is transferred to the pendant. That means I'll forget the memory after I say it. It's supposed to be painless, at least. No, you must remember everything. That's your role.
Bom, então vamos tentar.
So, this old tape should work for our sense of sound.
Ó, o gravadorzinho. Pra quem é velho, teve Walkman de tape.
You and I fell asleep listening to this tape. Your dad came home. We all rested together until it got dark. What an odd feeling. Like an absence, disappearing. The empty space fills itself back in.
Ah, a mãe dela esqueceu a memória lá
Until I forget
da
that
fita.
I forgot anything at all. I'm glad I'm only losing a few memories. If I lost too many, I wouldn't even know who you are. You should pick the rest of the objects. I'll lose the memories, but you'll have them in the pendant forever. So they should be important to you. They should be parts of your identity you want to be sure to protect. So think about what these items and what the memories would preserve about you. Let's do smell next. Find an
Bom,
object
vamos
with a
para o
strong
olfato.
odor.
Encontre o objeto de cheiro forte, que carrega um pedaço de você. Vamos...
Sweet wax honey. How I've tried to save things.
Vamos usar o doce no pingente. Então, ele tem uma proposta com relação aos sentidos, né? Bom, o que a gente escolheu pro olfato, as balas da mesa. Então vamos respirar fundo. Sentir o cheiro do doce.
These were a present from your friend Pate. It was such a special gift that you wouldn't eat a single one. But after a while, the candy became as hard as rocks. The candy was meant to give one moment of sugary joy. And you realized, we talked about this, that by trying to save them, they lost their purpose. It might have been better to just enjoy them in the moment. Now touch.
Agora a gente vai procurar um para o tato. Algo que tenha uma textura que você goste. Acho que a gente pode pegar o ursinho lá no quarto.
Fabric, skin, plush, limbs. This speaks to how my dad loved me.
So what did you end up choosing?
Então a gente escolheu o Sr. Loto, o ursinho.
Feel the object. I remember. You used to take him everywhere with you. One night, you forgot him in the plaza. It was cold and rainy that night, but your dad leaped into action as if the doll was a real member of the family. I have this image of his face as he ran out into the storm, completely serious. And when your dad returned with the doll, I forgot for a moment that stitched into the form of an animal. It felt as if he had a soul, because you'd projected one into him. What was dear to you was dear to us.
Não. Então,
Was
o nosso ursinho de pelúcia de quando era criança vai pro caldeirão. E dá pra pegar outros objetos, tá? Eu escolhi o ursinho por escolher, mas tem outras coisas que dá pra colocar.
I'm fine. Let's do sight next.
Vamos passar para a visão.
That looks nice.
Algo que a gente goste de olhar.
My bag and Dad's camera, ready for the great departure. Mom and Dad before I was born. I was born in the glow of my parents' love.
So, what did you end up choosing?
Então, a gente acabou escolhendo a foto.
This was the night I told your dad I was pregnant with you. There was a party in the plaza. I didn't have anything to drink, just water. He didn't wonder why. At the end of the night, I told him I was pregnant, and he was so happy, and he threw up. For taste, we can eat breakfast and feed some to the burner.
Então agora a gente vai comer a sopa que ela estava fazendo.
The memory I'll lose is the one we're forming right now. I want
E
you to
aí?
have it forever.
Sai daí, malvada. Caraca, que baciote, hein?
Standing here, you're having a last taste of home.
Então, nosso pingente está pronto.
Now you're protected by lost memories.
E o
At
pingente
your
das
home,
lembranças
around
perdidas.
your neck. This is my only condition for letting you go. You must promise me never to take the pendant off.
A gente não pode perder e nem tirar o pingente, que é a proteção aí de casa.
And never tamper with it. Okay? Then I'm okay with you leaving. I think your camera and bag are still in your room. It's time to gather them up.
Então, nós vamos pegar nossos treques no quarto.
I've lost so much. How could the world ask me to lose you too? Look at us. There we are. There we were. We'll always be right here on this beautiful morning.
Ganhamos uma conquista. O dia que eu saí de casa, minha mãe me disse. A gente pode abrir o diário. Então a gente grava, né, tudo que acontece nas páginas, que é o diário que a gente vai deixar para as pessoas. Então tem a foto da mãe, né, ritual de despedida. A gente cola ele aqui, é isso? É isso mesmo, a gente vai fazer uma colagem. Aqui, ó, a foto da mãe, ritual de despedida. Acabei de realizar um ritual de despedida com a minha mãe. O momento se foi, mas vou registrá-lo nessas páginas para você, para o futuro. A proposta é um diário, né, uma carta para o futuro, para que as pessoas possam, né, acompanhar o que aconteceu. Então, coloque as recordações suficientes para desbloquear uma inspiração. Beleza. Então, a gente... Não estou enxergando de novo, porque a nossa... Ó, a câmera, pingente, as fotos, o ursinho, as balas. Beleza. A gente vai colando, ó, ao longo das páginas. Então, a gente vai colar o pingente aqui também. Vamos pôr a bolsa aqui. A foto dos pais. O nosso ursinho. Então a gente está montando o diário aqui.
When my mom would share a memory of dad while cooking, on a walk, with no warning. It knocked the wind out of me. Rituals take this grief and give it a shape and a story. Filling in this journal is a ritual too, but for a loss that hasn't hit us yet.
Vamos pôr mais uma, né? Porque ficou os doces do... Ficou os doces do menino aqui, do nosso amigo. Ó, novos carimbos e conclusões estão desbloqueados. Tá. Selecionar nosso doce. Vamos pôr os doces aqui, né? É a última lembrança aqui da... Ó, aí tem outras coisas, ó, que a gente vai, acho que colar também. Mas aí minha página vai ficar muito lotada. O que é isso? Vamos pôr esse aqui, ó. Não, não vamos pôr aqui não, senão vai tampar os negócios. Pronto. Ó, então a gente a gente tem aqui velhos tempos, né? Tempo desconhecido, época de modernidade, 500, uma época de industrialização, época dourada, 722, uma época de troca cultural, a guerra, 770, uma grande guerra que durou 10 anos. Aí, época da 780, época em que eu nasci. Quem é você? Eu não sei, mas mesmo assim lhe escrevo. Onde você está? Quando no futuro? Onde encontrou meu diário? Acho que nunca saberei, mas você pode ler tudo que juntei nessas páginas para saber quem sou eu. Eu venho de uma pequena vila nas montanhas, ninguém sai daqui desde antes de eu nascer. Mas nossas vidas mudaram da noite para o dia. Há pouco tempo, quando meu melhor amigo teve um sonho profético. É a introdução lá, né? Então aqui a gente tem a introduçãozinha e as nossas recordações. Por enquanto a gente ainda não pode virar a página.
I've brought tools to record the sights and sounds of this season.
Registrar as paisagens e os sons da nossa época.
The only place I've ever known.
Começar registrando o único lugar que eu conheço, que é a vila, né? Ó, a gente pode gravar. Vamos gravar o som, ó.
Public sleep music is a tradition of ours here. When the music ends, the village will begin to wake up.
Vamos gravar o som da fonte também. Tem uma...
We have plenty of fresh water here. I wonder if it's more scarce in the outside world. Last night there was a goodbye party here in the plaza. Everyone was so afraid for me. To understand that fear, to understand where I grew
câmera
up,
fotográfica.
you have to know the man standing watch over the plaza. Last night my friends wrote down their hopes for my trip and tied them to the branches of this tree. This is Dr. Fumio and his son. The statue isn't as old as it looks. The artist wore it down to give it a feeling of ancientness and the authority that comes with it. Dr. Fumio and his son founded Cairo back in 776. They live on through our traditions. There are 3 murals celebrating Dr. Fumio's work.
3 murais.
Remembering everything must be painful. Dr. Fumio brought peace to so many people here.
A gente pode andar mais rápido com o R1.
A wish fell off the tree. I'm not supposed to read them, but it might be good for you to have an example of one. I can go against tradition a little for posterity.
Então roubamos um desejo.
Smells like an old man's toes dipped in cinnamon. I had to drink this gross potion last night. Like my pendant, it's supposed to protect my brain.
Desbloqueou mais uma inspiração.
A village that was created as a place to heal. Is that where my instinct to try to help comes from? It's so strange to imagine
Então,
I'll be shaped by places and
cada
people I
página que a
haven't
gente vai
met yet.
completando, ela
So
vai
strange
contando
to
um
imagine
pouco,
that I
né,
might feel at
do
home
lugar que a gente
somewhere
tá.
else.
Então, ó, aqui. E aí aqui, ó, as frasezinhas, acho que a gente só pode colocar o que tem relação com o lugar que a gente tá. Ó. Ah, dá pra reorganizar. Top.
Pate loves fish, even though nobody here has ever seen one.
A gente tem que achar os murais. Aqui com certeza é outro. O dia em que o Dr. Fumio curou o transtorno de percepção equivocada do tempo. Então aqui a
The
gente vai
elder sought out Dr.
fotografar.
Fumio to cure her mother, who was suffering from time misperception.
Falta um, são 3, né? Que falou, então a gente já achou 2 com esse. Tá faltando mais um. Aqui o terceiro, ó.
Dr. Fumio said the dream sickness was caused by something very powerful. He wasn't able to cure it.
Então vamos descer aqui a escadinha. A gente não pode correr na escada. Então aqui a nossa vila foi fundada em 710, né, lá naquela
Much later, Dr. Fumio arrived
Fala.
and remade it in his image. This flower means you're in my thoughts. The morning after the search was called off for Dad, our doorstep was covered in them.
Bom, e a gente vai sair da vila.
A trip just as slow, reliable, and oddly satisfying as life itself in this little village. I've always wondered what's on the other side of this gate. Today, I'll find out.
Então, vamos sair da vila. Aproveitar para beber uma água enquanto a gente está saindo aqui da vila.
Is it recording?
Yes.
Okay. How to leave home for my daughter. Find a sacred square of earth. Lay down so you have the dirt at your back. Close your eyes. Close everything. Do you see for yourself? You see for the dead, for the unborn. Do you listen for yourself? You listen for the dead, for the unborn. Your ancestors are in that dirt. All the living and all the dead are holding you up. Now, stand. They're still there, aren't they? It's time to move, to entangle yourself everywhere with everyone. So the next time you lay down in the dirt, you will have so much more to tell them.
Então, a gente pode colar aqui também, né? Verdade. Tinha esquecido que tinha que colar as fotos do homem. Ah, esqueci de tirar a foto do negócio. A gente passou pelo negócio e não tirou a foto. Eita porra, vou ter que voltar. Será que dá pra voltar? Caramba. Ah, dá pra entrar de novo. Deixa eu pegar um negócio ali só pra eu ver aqui. Pera aí. A gente é prudente, não corre na escada. Vem. Cadê?
There's something eerie about an instrument that plays itself. But wind chimes aren't eerie. I think the self-playing instrument needs to imply the presence of a person who isn't there, like this one does, to be properly eerie.
Bom, então esse daqui. Ué, por que não aparece aqui? Então não é... Pior que é esse sim. Por que não entra ali? Não era pra entrar a fotinha? Acho que não dá pra colocar depois. Droga. Vamos ter que ir pra frente mesmo.
I go fishing here with my best friend Pate, even though there's nothing to catch. We both appreciate the silence.
Então, vamos embora de vez. Vamos ver se estando aqui a gente consegue colar o... Puta, ficou travado aqui. Que triste. Nossa, um puta precipício.
Pate fixed up 3 bikes instead of 1.
Ah, nesse crema azul. Então, acho que depois que sai de lá ele não deixa colocar de volta, sabe? Tá. Ele tem aquele sensor lá, sabe, do gatilho do Play. Viu pedalar? Ai, caraca, viu? Bom, acabamos a introdução do jogo. Tudo isso era só a introdução. Né? 1 hora de introdução pra sair da cidade. É, bem isso mesmo. Mas eu achei ele bonito, apesar de não ser um jogo realista, né? Eu achei bonito. Ah, posso estacionar minha bike. Aí eu perco a bicicleta, tipo aquelas pessoas que vão no shopping e perde o carro no estacionamento. Vou roubar tudo.
I can see in these letters that the outside world has extremes of beauty and tragedy beyond anything I've known. I feel nourished in these sights.
Eu gosto de gráfico assim também. Apesar de não ser muito realista, eu acho
These
legal.
means of connection, long in disuse, are certainly telling me something about the world. Will they be used again in the next season?
A gente faz tipo uma colagem com os negocinhos que a gente vai pegando. Saudações, ex-daily. Terei sorte se essa carta chegar às suas mãos. A guerra avança com o ímpeto de um sonho febril, debatendo-se alheia aos seus horrores. Percebi como os soldados primeiro despem as pessoas, uma humilhação pequena diante do que acontece em seguida. Gostaria de ter te amado com mais paixão quando o mundo ainda permitia, com amor, Odell. Vamos pegar a carta.
The letter never made it. The season before this one, the war, seems so horrible.
Caro Cornélius, pensei muito a respeito, e preciso ser sincero. O nome que escolheu para o seu bebê é horrendo. Imploro para que não faça isso. Espero que essa carta chegue às suas mãos a tempo. Atenciosamente, Derino.
That poor baby.
Vamos tirar uma fotos daqui. Fotos. Mais uma carta. A gente tá igual os fofoqueiros, lendo a carta de todo mundo. Favor entregar esta carta ao Dr. Fúmio. Sofro de excesso de memória, mas não posso viajar para fazer o tratamento na vila. Eu tinha esperanças de que o senhor pudesse me instruir sobre como me curar dessa doença por carta. Não consigo esquecer. Agora percebo como é importante deixar parte da mente livre. Diga-me o que fazer, diga-me como esquecer. Favor entregar esta carta ao Dr. Fúmio.
Before setting up in Cairo village, Dr. Fumio roamed the land curing people. It must have been hard when he wasn't around anymore, especially for people who couldn't travel to the village.
Ano 704, número 215. Importação e exportação. Tecidos, 5 rolos. Chá de ervas, 20 latas. Raízes, 10. Flores secas, 1 caixa. Sementes, 1 saco. Verso. As rotas comerciais foram fechadas. Caro ficará menor ainda.
Traders used to come to the outskirts of the village. The war put an end to this.
Ó, a gente pode desenhar. Agora a gente vai procurar a bicicleta, que eu não sei onde eu deixei. Aqui. Tá porra. Bate na cerca. Vai ficar com as pernas fortes, a menina. Porque olha. Vamos tirar uma foto daqui. Sim, fica da hora, né?
In the village, these cranes look like little creatures, grazing. I had no idea how huge they are.
Ai, que medo. O barulho do... Estamos lascados. Como que passa aqui? Não, ela não sabe nadar. É tipo a Ellie. Aí o board vem e dá uma bodaiada na gente.
My first time petting an animal. I think it went pretty well. We learned about old technology in school, but not much about animals.
Eita porra, não sabe
What
sobre
are these
animais?
strange goat-like creatures?
Animalzinhos. Vários bodinhos. Vou passar aqui. E vamos embora. A rua vai pro outro lado também. Vambora, vambora. Caminho da roça.
I cycled through landscapes, seeing them for the first and last time. I had no idea when I left my home how the season would end, or more importantly, how soon. On a cold, damp day, I feel true loneliness for the first time. Nobody could have described with words how big this world is, how it goes and goes. I passed through it, where others passed before me.
Nova página adicionada. Vamos tirar uma foto da chuva. Vamos gravar a chuva. Tirar uma foto da chuva.
The blades turn, but I bet they don't generate any power. Probably just swirling the air around.
Pedalar na chuva.
Someone was out here alone.
Ó, ficou legal a nossa foto, hein? Pensando o quê? Eita porra. Meti meu coco na parede.
What One melody is like me out here alone. I can't really live like this. They kept themselves company with music.
Guardando.
Two voices is like me and my mom. We can survive, but eventually you need more. Three voices is complex as life is supposed to be. I could listen forever.
Eita porra. Dei bug no negócio.
Time seems to pass differently around here. I feel so heavy and so light at the same time. I'm not really alone. I'm with myself. I'm with the earth.
Ó, novos carimbos desbloqueados. Eita chuvarada. Pedalar numa chuvarada dessa aí.
In the empty places, I found companionship in the tapes I recorded before leaving home. The elder told me the story of her life. I listened back to it.
Ah lá, ela tem o Walkman igual ao do Leandro.
Let's set the scene for the listener, whoever that might be. This is the elder speaking.
Então, essa é a anciã.
Sitting in the plaza, saying goodbye to a dear soul. We're here to see if there's anything useful in my mind that could help you on your trip. A century's worth of memories, dreams, fantasies, visions. Like a big, old, haunted library. When I die, this library will burn down. But which book should we check out first? I don't have all the answers. But I do feel the story of my life could help you understand what kind of world is out there. It's okay not to understand everything right away.
Ai, ai.
The moment may pass before you've gotten a firm hold on it. But as long as you're there to witness
A véia, na verdade, colocou minhocas na cachola da menina. A menina tava lá vivendo de boa, no vilarejo dela. Ah, vai lá ver o mundo. Vai andar sozinha de bicicleta na chuva.
You and others to come will someday take the time to make sense of it all. Francis Cale, if you must know. You can call me Frank. Or Elder.
Ou véia.
Or the Elder. Or Elder Frank. You know, whatever. I don't care.
Né? Arruma um trampo, vai lavar louça, cortar a grama do quintal.
I was born on the ocean. My mother and father worked on a cruise ship. The short-lived but glorious, watery republics. Floating cities. Most won their independence by the time I was born. How can I describe them? They were a jewel of the golden season. Pleasure boats with a radical political program. The golden
O pai
age
da
was a
menina
time of
morreu
flags,
subindo
logos,
montanha. Ela
mottos,
quer matar a
mastheads.
menina andando de bike na chuva.
My mom taught me to read them. She was the ship's philosopher. My dad was a recycling engineer. Recycling on the ship was a matter of life and death. We had to get the most out of every object and watt of energy. He struggled against waste and entropy.
Bike sem freio pra você se quebrar.
It was a never-ending puzzle of inputs and outputs. The waste of one system could be the source material for another. It was stressful work. I remember one time asking him what the trouble was. He said, I'm trying to create a system that
Ele
is more
tava
efficient than the
trabalhando.
human
Ela
body,
perguntou qual o problema. Ele falou: o problema não é o trabalho, ele tem que trabalhar.
which had millions of years to evolve and still has vestigial organs, and dies if it doesn't have water for 3 days. His name was Merritt
Au.
Campbell. I loved the way the ship would tilt and roll with the waves, especially as I fell asleep.
Tá parecendo um
So
Pokémon, o
comforting.
boneco fala e a boca fica parada. Só que no Pokémon o boneco mexe a boca e não fala.
Picture me as a kid in bed, feeling the swaying. It was like being rocked to sleep as a baby. I loved exploring the ship too. Wandering through the suites, the swimming pool, the game rooms, and oh, there were 2 dance halls. A large, elegant one and another one in the basement. A lot of my firsts were down there. My first dance, my first kiss, and so forth. Our ship was taken over in the early days of the war. That was the end of the watery republics. I heard the dance hall in the basement became a weapons cache. Took me half my life to say goodbye to the world I knew in my youth. Imagine me and my parents and everyone I knew being escorted off the ship by a company of soldiers. And I'm thinking, I hope they don't make a mess of my room. I was embarrassed by the younger kids who were crying their eyes out, but they knew, I guess. Yes, the start of the war was a turning of seasons, and we had been warned the season was going to end. Oh, but we didn't understand the warning. You see, one night, along a coastline, we shimmering above the water. Later, we found out this was an ancient warning system. It hadn't been used in so long. We didn't know what it meant. We just thought, well, ain't that pretty? We tried to stick together.
Ah lá, ó,
and
tá
camped
tudo
out on the
explodindo,
coast
vai
of the
ver. Fica lá, ai
Bismarck
que lindo,
grounds.
que bonito.
A kingdom of art and science. They got rich during the golden season. Everything that made them beloved before the wealth came. Passionate, uncompromising, self made them unbearable once they had power. Artists make terrible kings. Are you sure you want me to keep going? The story gets darker from here on. Okay, so Conditions in the camp were getting worse. My mom got lost in thought for long periods of time. She'd be completely still for hours, days even. We realized she caught, well, now we call it time misperception disorder. It's when you lose your ability to tell how much time is passing. A minute can feel like an hour. A day can pass in 10 seconds. We don't know exactly. Our consciousness is delicate. There are minerals and sounds that can adjust it. Dr. Fumio's greatest fear was that someone would use this as a weapon. We heard about a traveling doctor who could cure these kinds of diseases. I decided to go find him. I found out his name was Dr. Fumio, and he traveled with his son Lucio. People talked about him like he was a god. I described my mom's condition to Dr. Fumio. He said there was no cure yet, but there was a village high in the mountains. He thought it was high enough he'd have a better chance at treatment. Lower places are more dangerous. Valleys are the worst. He invited me to join them in going to the village, but I wanted to go back and get my parents and bring them with me. Yes, our Caro village. People thought it had been destroyed, or was a myth. But Lucio had a vision which showed us how to get here. I packed my things and got ready to leave the next morning. That night, my mom came to me in a dream. She was standing in a field of flowers. I'd grown since I last saw her. We were the same height. She pressed a finger hard into my palm. She taught me well. I knew the meaning of the gesture. I knew no matter what I did, I'd never see my parents again. In the morning, I told Dr. Fumio I would follow him to Caro village. The next few weeks were very physically tiring, hiking, climbing. And when we found the village, building, planting, cleaning, Fumio brought sick people from all over the world, and they got better. The treatments worked. Everyone was healing. So why couldn't I? One day, we got word the war was over. We never found out how it ended. It was like peace just swept over the earth in a split second. There was a party in the plaza to celebrate the end of the war, but I couldn't bring myself to go. Yes, it was over, but it had taken my home. That night, as I was falling asleep, I felt the bed tilt and sway gently, as if it was being tossed on the waves of the ocean, as if I was back in my bedroom.
A véia ficou doidona.
As if I was back in my mother's arms, being rocked gently to sleep. I knew I was finally home, and nothing could hurt me.
Fala, tia, no mínimo perturbadora. A criança tá sozinha no mundo, andando de bicicleta na chuva, você contando essas histórias aí.
I imagined
Perturbador.
coming upon a place as hidden and singular as my own village. Eventually, I found myself circling a valley, looking for a way in.
Fala, você tá querendo me assustar, véia. Eu sei. Ah, lá vamos nós andar de bike na estrada, no meio da rua, sem medo. Os ladrilhos aqui faz movimentação no controle. Barragem do Vale Tieng, um presente das terras prismáticas, projeto de paz elétrica no ano de 515.
We never used this kind of technology in my village. Nobody trusted it.
Eita porra, neblina de Silent Hill. Ah, pronto. Um guarda com uma figura de guarda.
Oh. Valet. One second.
The elders said that people were exhausted by symbols after the war. But here I
Beleza,
feel
William.
Is that a strotofop? What are they called?
Nossa, estrotofop. O que é
What is it?
estrotofop? A menina, você tá usando.
I love
Tá usando droga?
It's getting more and more rare. I had a camera, but it broke. Not that interesting of a story, I guess. What are you doing here? Well, you're just in time. Here I am. But what kind of stuff are you recording? That's the way to do it, if you ask me. If anyone asked me, I mean, the valley would be a good place to use those tools. Too bad it's closed down. Let me finish up here, huh?
Tio, eu não vou ficar aqui o dia inteiro parada não, velho. Este portão do Vale Cheng, lar dos três deuses conscientes. Ao entrar, tente imaginar os milhões de peregrinos que já passaram por este portão. Eles nasceram, viveram e morreram.
I'm not the first to do this. Just the first in a long time.
Hey. This was like a second home for a while. That was fun earlier when you showed up. And I was carrying the cardboard man. You were like, who are these guys?
Não, eu tava pensando, que cara
Pretty
louco.
bored here. You know, the valley's going to be flooded soon. That's why nobody can go in there. The dam is falling apart. Couple of days from now. Day 0, we call it.
Ele e o homem. Ele e o homem de papelão. Nós. Quem são nós? Eu e o homem de papelão.
We do all kinds of fun stuff. Health clinics, minesweeping, daycare, evacuations, weddings. We're new.
Só coisa legal mesmo, realmente. Creches, inundações, casamento.
We'll do anything to make the future better than the present. No big deal. We're trying to get new things going. But it's hard. The past really has a tight grip on people. Doesn't feel like a fair fight. So we're trying to... Well... Anyway.
Peraí, gente. Deixa eu só pôr um negócio aqui na... Tirar uma impressão e botar uma impressão aqui rapidão. Tô aqui na nossa 300 mil chaveirinhos. Acabou um, tem que botar outro, senão... Voltamos. Vamos, vamos, vamos.
It's funny. I stood guard here for a week. And I've only seen greyhounds like myself. And valley people on their way out. But now I see you, and you're like a new element or something. I've never met anyone doing what you're doing. And we greyhounds gotta support new things. So... I'm not supposed to let anyone in. How can I? Jeez. I think you should go down into the valley and take a look. Gotta try something here.
O negócio tá desmoronando, ele vai deixar a menina entrar lá.
Dang it.
Só adultos responsáveis nesse lugar.
Well, you get the idea. Go on and put that old gear to use. You can take my map of the valley too. I don't need it anymore. I'll be down to pick everyone up around midnight. See you then.
Cadê minha bike? Ah, cadê?
I met a greyhound. He let me into the valley. I think he wanted me to record what the greyhounds were up to, and he gave me a map. The assembly point seemed like a good place to start. I wonder what he expects me to discover in the valley.
Estranho na estrada, estranho mesmo.
The elder warned me about valleys. She said they were dangerous. I feel a dulcet tension in the air. I enter to see the moment between seasons.
Gato, sossega aí, você vai cair.
All above will remain. All below will wash away. I am probably the last person that will ever be welcomed here by this sign. I have wondered about the lives beneath unkept graves.
Com licença, o que é uma flor de lembrança? As flores de lembrança são exclusivas do Vale Cheng. Sua longa história está entrelaçada com as práticas religiosas do Vale. Pare-os. Você pode se surpreender com o que as flores têm a dizer. Belas, mas perigosas. Lembre-se deste mnemônico útil. Poucas flores de lembrança, um alívio. Muitas flores de lembrança, um perigo.
I wonder what the flowers have to say. She must have been important to have such an elaborate solitary tomb.
Acho que eu vou pegar minha bike assim depois pra voltar. Olha, parece as casinhas dos Bogoblin lá do Zelda. A gente fica meio bugado perto das florzinhas aqui. Vamos catar nossa bike. Oh, vou bater, vou bater.
Will the last voice to cry out in the wilderness not even be human?
Sim, é bem da hora. E ele não dá muita explicação, né? Você tem que ir caçando os negócios até você descobrir. E as memórias a gente que escolhe, né? O que captura pra colocar. Tipo, cada um vai ter um diário diferente, né? Cada pessoa que jogar.
If you want to awaken the dead, just whisper.
Quer se juntar às mãos cinzentas? O que você gostaria de fazer? Como quer gastar seu tempo infinitamente precioso nessa terra? Criaremos uma vaga específica para você. Cada mão cinzenta é seu próprio departamento. Ai, que medo. Lembra os vagalumes. Vamos tirar fotos. Fotos. Aqui é a tal da área de encontro que o cara falou.
There must be a lot of people going to the city if they need to keep track of them with cards.
Tá levando as pessoas para outra cidade.
The Grey Hands want to end this season.
É folheto de convocação, que medo.
They say they're going to build the next season. How?
Tá bom, domingo, acordar 1h da tarde, o que que tem? Dá nada não. Ó, esse daqui eu fiz certo, ó. O outro lá eu errei. A gente não pode sair da área sem encontrar todas as lembranças.
Grey hands are the future in all its uncertainty, the good and the bad, the hope and fear of progress. The loneliness of
A
this
página
season
lá
will
da
go left
cidade
behind.
ficou incompleta. Eu não
A
peguei
collective
as coisas.
project is coming.
Saí da área antes, aí depois acho que não dá pra pegar. A nossa bikezinha ali, ó. Vamos pegar a nossa bikezinha e pé na estrada. Eita porra. Não, aqui tá trancado. Dá pra voltar, o caminhão não fica travado. Mas aí você já não consegue pegar as coisas, sabe? Que foi o que aconteceu aquela hora. Eu voltei, mas aí já não deixa mais pegar, né? Opa, telefone tocando. Alô? A música é PlayStation, PlayStation.
Oh, thank God someone is still down there. I've been trying to get a hold of someone for hours. Oh, thank you. I forgot the day zero materials. You know, the visual literature, the warm bath of ideas? I left it at the dig site. It should be sitting on a barrel with a fruit sticker on it. Oh, wait! Hold on. I forgot to do the secret password. I don't even know who you are. Is it too late now, you think? Yeah, the locals don't use the telephone anyway. The hermit in the woods is afraid to because she got hit by lightning once. Anyways, thanks for answering. The day zero material is in the dig site. Pretty sure. It should be sitting on a barrel that has a fruit sticker on it. You know, I guess I was going to say but the flood will destroy it anyway. So, actually, I was worried for nothing. Everything is lost in a flood.
Só louco, só
We
doido.
really know what we're doing. I'm excited for this all to be over. I'm excited for this all to begin. Bye-bye now.
Só gente doida, só gente doida. Só gente alucinada, maluca. Vai voltar? Vão dar agora PlayStation 5? solta a bikezinha. Vamos tirar foto das mimosas. Mimosas.
Is that your name on your collar? Let's see.
Ah lá, você é uma mimosa.
Madrigal. And you are Mata.
Aí a vaca, de onde surgiu essa criança folgada? Os caras vão embora porque vai ter um alagamento e deixa as vacas. PlayStation 5. Estamos sendo evacuados. Estão nos levando para um prédio na cidade radiante. Não há espaço para os animais. Isso parte meu coração, mas tenho que deixar todos vocês aqui. Deixei o rádio ligado na sua estação favorita. Vocês sempre cuidaram bem de mim.
These people had to leave so much behind.
We got a big show today.
Huge show.
Breaking news. The Greyhounds have died.
We're being reborn, baby.
And we're taking suggestions for our new name.
Live on the air suggestions from the rank and file.
You don't even need to be a Greyhound to suggest a name.
True, true.
The number to call is 0019. That is 0019. First caller, hit us with a name.
Hi, yeah. I was thinking the bricklayers.
Okay. Bricklayers.
Laying some bricks. Well, yeah, thanks for the suggestion.
We'll be taking them all afternoon, so keep them coming.
That number again is 0019. You're listening to Greyhound Radio. We are broadcasting live from Greyhound HQ.
And we're going to take a little break.
If the Greyhounds are changing their name, you'd know them as something else. And your name is Toupette. I wonder who named you that. Compared to my village, they lived in the open here. They lived on the land itself. I hope in the future, at least some people are still living like that.
Ah, tá lá do outro lado a bike. Caraca. Tem que ir lá buscar. Passei por aqui, né? Acho que a gente pode subir aqui na casinha, né? Eu vou deixar a bikezinha parada aqui. Onde tem uma vaca? Fazenda das Mumosas. Tá, então... A gente tá indo pro lado errado, né? Ah, porra, tem coisa pra caraca aqui. Aqui é a escavação.
Looks like there's no one around anymore to enforce this.
Queremos nem saber. Se não tem ninguém, a gente vai logo entrando. Faz igual os portugueses. Ou de casa, ninguém respondeu. Vai entrando e sentando no sofá.
These signs are so demanding. I can't imagine them in my village. There are a lot of these signs. They must really want to keep people out of this area. I found a dig site that is fenced off from view. What were they doing?
Eita, olha como o mapa é grande. A gente só fez esse pedacinho até agora.
A greyhound said he left his materials behind. It should be somewhere around here. There's a big tree with a researcher's notebook inside it somewhere.
Segurança local, perigo, mineral psicoativo presente. Manuseie com cuidado, não fale, cante nem subir perto do mineral. Você está entrando em uma área silenciosa.
This is the kind of brain trouble my mom warned me about.
Tá.
I wonder what this channel is for. They must have already shipped out all the harpic they need. Memories and emotions condensed.
É, pelo visto é grande. Eu achei que ele era pequenininho. Daqui a pouco eu vou parar pra almoçar. Eu já estou ficando com fome.
I wonder what's on this reel. What is day 0? Maybe I can find out more about it.
Tá faltando um negocinho ainda.
A pit this size must have taken a while to dig.
Deve ser outro gráfico que tá faltando. Dura que é grande, eu já larguei a bicicleta lá na PQP, né?
I've recreated the same setup as the prayer statues, right here in my workshop. I set up a singing bowl so I can verify the pattern that will form in the water. And some harpic, of course. Each god seems to correspond to a resonating frequency. And when this vibration acts on the harpic, we get the psychoactive response. Going to give it a try here.
Tá porra. Acho que eles que cagaram todo o negócio aí com essa mexeção que eles estão. Olha lá, é bruxaria isso. Bruxaria, sai. Não quero mais.
I remember
Brincar
watching
disso.
my dad make shadow puppets on the wall. Felt strange because I could see how it was done. I could see the trick of it, but it still felt kind of magical.
It worked. I do feel the more I do this, the more tired and it feels like it takes me longer to return to the present. But now I have some control. I face the question of how this mineral affects the soil. I still have a lot of work to do. That's all for today.
A mineral that can affect the mind.
Dia 0, 50 quilômetros do raio, 309 quilos de quantidade. Grande oração. É gente doida,
They dug
gente.
up all that harpic in order to
É bando
conduct
de
some
gente
sort of prayer
maluca.
on day 0.
Vocês não estão entendendo. Gato tá rolando aqui, parecendo um louco, me pisoteando.
What we do to the land eventually makes its way into our blood and our brains.
Eu tenho que pôr
This can
esse
define a
celular pra
season.
carregar, tá? Olha lá, acabou a bateria do... Só gente com a cabeça desnorteada.
The process of taking people out of the valley was also a kind of ritual, a way of bridging one life to another. They know the world they're leaving. The next one hasn't been created yet.
Às vezes é cansaço também. Tenta comer alguma coisa, às vezes passa.
They look relieved to have finished their work.
The necessity of day zero is not just psychological, it's ecological. Because there is a compounding effect to these minerals and their psychological effect. And we see this in Tiang Valley. There is a memory and a memory of a memory and a memory of a memory of a memory. This echo effect, this
Vai derrubar o canal aí, caraca. Tô trabalhando domingo e você querendo derrubar o canal.
It creates points of pressure where things bleed, and soil and human minds are contaminated. Some will say, what's a few daytime visions?
Qual o problema de algumas visões diurnas? Se não for a visão da realidade, é problema. É problema.
The haunted quality of this season will only get worse. The necessity of day zero is also to... This particular action will neutralize this phenomenon at its source. This is not an endless cycle. We are putting an end to this psychoactive
eu tenho que parar, eu tenho que comer. Eu nem sei que horas são, acho que já umas 2 horas, né?
How do they plan to remove the haunted quality of this season?
The necessity of day zero is not just psychological.
Ainda tá faltando 2 negocinhos aqui.
The work at the dig site has something to do with day zero.
Água eu tô bebendo.
The Grey Hands present one side to the public, and another is hidden behind metal fences. There is
Ah lá, ó. Tô falando que os malucos parecem os vagalumes.
record of what they did here.
Uma hora e meia já. Já deu mais de 1 hora de live, né? Ainda falta um negócio aqui da área. Esse ali, será que dá pra assistir ao filme que encontrei? Deve ter um projetor em algum canto. Eu acho que eu quando comecei, acho que não era 1 hora ainda.
There are a lot more possibilities here for gardening. The soil must be rich and they must get a lot of rain. I hope I get to taste some saba fruit. If it merits a sticker, must be pretty good.
Ó, finalmente uma pessoa, hein?
Oh, no, no, no! You said we had until midnight. I'm not ready to leave. Look at all this. Wait a minute. A cute outfit, a bicycle. You're not a greyhound. What a relief. I'm sorry. I just assumed because who else would be... What are you doing here? Today? You're trying to do that today? Wow, and I thought I was busy. Welcome to Tiang Valley. You should have been here a week ago when the evacuation started. Almost everyone is gone now. My son and I are still here. There's a few old people left too. You might come across them. Hopefully everyone will leave the valley tonight. We're going to live in the city, in a little apartment. Look. See how they put the dimensions on the back? I recreated our future apartment here, on the lawn. This is the space we have to work with, to live in. I'm trying to really imagine what it'll be like. We're going from a big farm to one room.
Ele era doido.
And we need to be packed by tonight.
Totalmente abobado da
For
cabeça.
myself and my son, but my husband Yuri is a little harder to pack for because he passed away recently. And I can't bring all his things. It's not realistic. His stuff is still... It's all here. It's okay. What'd you say you wanted to see? The true state of all things? It must be in here somewhere. We can do this. Just need to decide. Our old cart broke. I overloaded it. So I had to use the wheels of his bicycle. Now he's so mad he won't say a word. Yuri learned to paint from our neighbor, Matiora. He painted all 3 of these. This is a self-portrait he did. Kind of intense, right? He was more handsome than that. I wish he could have seen himself the way I saw him, you know? He was really lovely. Just occasional dark moods from his work. This is his portrait of me. We got into a fight over it. What's that supposed to mean? You just splatter some paint on the canvas and put my name on it? He said it was my essence. I don't know. Do you think it looks like me? He painted this for Kochi. Some kind of private joke between the 2 of them. I don't get it. They were both interested in the war and how it ended. I'm not. I just pray nothing like that will ever happen again. Which painting should I take with me? Yes, you're right. For better or worse, this is how he saw me, deep in his mind. Maybe someday I'll understand it. Maybe someday I will look at this painting and see him seeing me. I've packed my essential clothes. I don't know what to do with these. This was Yuri's best suit. Maybe when Kochi grows up, it'll fit him. That's a long time away, though. My island dress. I made this for our trip to the islands, the trip we never took. It was based on a photo of a seaside Azan dance. The hours I spent on this. These are some of Yuri's clothes from when he was a kid. I thought Kochi could wear them, but he says they're itchy. So what's the use? But to throw them away, he was a little boy. He would put these clothes and go to school. He grew up. Oh, God, this hurts a little. Okay. Yes, they seem so precious. I don't know. I should keep these. All right, this is going well. But I feel like I'm forgetting something. Or someone. The demon of shame and mourning. How could I have forgotten? Now, where did I put him? We need to bring the demon of shame and mourning. When someone dies and you're in mourning, you're supposed to keep the demon in sight at all times. He's supposed to remind you of your regrets. It's a religious thing. These are Yuri's books. They're pretty heavy. This is an old religious book, The Prism of Yesterday. He didn't like to talk about his faith. I haven't read it much. Maybe there's a part of him in these pages. A part I never understood, that I could still glimpse. Maybe he would want me to keep this one. But I don't know. It just doesn't mean much to me. Yuri found this old tourist guide to the valley before we moved here. He was so excited. But this guide is really out of date. It's from way before the war. There's something optimistic about the colors they used. Yuri really wanted to take a trip to the archipelago together. We prepared for it a lot. Even taught ourselves a bit of the language from this, but we never made the trip. It was always going to be soon, but it seems like the kind of thing no one does anymore. Which should I take with me? Yes, that seems right. Maybe I'll even read it one day. I suppose I'll be leaving the other 2 behind. I know they're heavy, but would you want to take one with you? Yeah, maybe you'll make it to the Azan Islands someday. Let's see how this is going so far. This book will help me remember Yuri's quiet, spiritual side. Yuri's clothes, from him when he was a kid. I'll remember the way Yuri saw my... I think we're almost there. Let's just look a little more. I went through all our old photos, trying to see what I might be forgetting. I love that view. Have you been up there, by the entrance to the shrine? You really should go see it when it opens. It's just across the river and up the hill. The doors to the shrine open when the sun goes down. The monk is still in there. I hope he'll evacuate. That's Matiora. She lives east of here, out in the woods by the river. She said she'll evacuate, but she's still here. It makes me nervous, but I can't complain. We're still here too. That's Kochi. He was such an easy kid back then. He used to talk more, used to make up stories. I really hope the city has kids his age. It was already a small world when it was the three of us. Now he spends so much time alone. The past is such a heavy dream, and I never remember my dreams. But when I wake up, there's a cloud of feelings the dream left behind. Then the day begins.
Eu vou terminar esse pedaço e vou almoçar, se daqui a pouco
I wonder if our
vou
memories of the
desmaiar de
valley will drift
fome.
away like that. Someday Kochi will be as old as his father was when he died. What will he remember? My husband built these tools to study the valley. They were his life's work, and they took his life away, too. So what do I do with them? You can't buy tools like these. He made them. My husband didn't insult God, but maybe he stepped on his toe, and his life went out of him. There's the skin of our body that keeps us together, but there's also the skin of our minds. The skin of your mind can pop like a bubble, and everything that makes you yourself will come pouring out, and the earth will devour it eagerly, the way wind fills a vacuum. They might be incredibly valuable to a scientist on the other side of the world. I don't know. I also hate them. I get you're a curious soul, but I forbid you from using them. I don't care, but he did. He gave his life trying to understand this world. I can't keep these tools, and I can't throw them away. There's even more of them, bigger ones, out at his work shed. Okay, I'm going to turn away now. I want you to take them or throw them away. I don't want to know. All right, this is it.
Tamanho da mala, cabe a criança dentro da mala. Ai, meu Deus, quebrou o demônio, olha lá.
I killed him. The demon of shame and mourning. What was I thinking bringing it along? What an awful tradition. Kochi, do you still want to take a final tour of the valley? Let's get those wheels back where they belong. I know what I'll carry with me. It's something I couldn't leave behind if I tried. It couldn't be crushed, like the demon. It's too many layers deep. I'll carry the part of me that's gone. But there's so much life left that flowers grow along its edges. Something like that. I'm glad you came to Tiang Valley today. Thank you for being there for me. I didn't realize how much I needed a stranger's ear. Now, there's no rush, but as you try to wrap, feel free to come ask me questions. I'll be right here until night comes.
The earth gave and gave. It did not let up.
I
Not even at the
pray.
last minute. We collect the fruit of the land we know is dying. Who could forgive us?
Vamos completar nossa página. Aí eu vou almoçar e depois eu volto. Mais tarde. Bom, então agora eu vou almoçar, que já deve ser, sei lá, quase 2 horas da tarde. Tô com fome. Vou tirar uma foto desse guri aqui. Ah, não, escrevi coisa errada. Vou tirar uma foto do gurizo aqui.
Do you want to go on a sightseeing tour? Bikes all day. The next tour leaves in, well, now basically. Saying goodbye is like when you empty your pockets before going to bed. You get to see what you picked up. The things I picked up need somewhere to sleep. Follow me.
Bom, eu vou parar por aqui, né? E aí mais tarde eu volto. Que já tá dando 2 horas e 37 minutos no ar. Então eu vou dar uma paradinha aqui, vou comer. Qualquer coisa mais tarde eu volto. Se eu não conseguir voltar mais tarde, amanhã com certeza na tarde eu volto. Então valeu, galera, né, que acompanhou a gente aí. Espero que vocês estejam gostando do título, né? Ele tem para PC e para PlayStation 4 e PlayStation 5, então acompanhem.